Hey guys, let's take a little break from the beginner guitar Christmas songs in the Hal Leonard book and do Greensleeves, or What Child Is This, from the Frederick M. Noad book. And this song is also found in Royal Conservatory Grade 3, so it's a little bit of a more advanced song for you. In Royal Conservatory the chords are fuller, and I'll probably do a version of that as well. I'm going to scan it and show it to you in regular notation from the book, which is a little more difficult. It took me a little while to learn it. But when I show students, they pick it up really quickly, mainly because I cheat and I do it in tab, and I really reduce it. This little green section is important for us to know about. We're going to use it as a substitution later on. So we're in 3/4. We'll start with this A note on beat 3. 1, 2, 3. This first move is classic, and I didn't know what it was for many years. I went through lots of different songs, and finally it occurred to me I was seeing this fairly often. You've already seen it in Dust in the Wind. It's an A minor to a C chord. And the way fingerstyle and classical players fill that gap is to go from A minor, which has an open A string, to a B note. We're walking up. We put that at the bottom of a G chord, to the C chord. So on the bass we get A, B, C. We also do it going the other way. C, G over B, A. So C, B, A. That little movement happens all the time. You might as well get really used to it right now. I won't actually make the full chords this time around because you see we're only playing on 5th and 2nd strings. We don't need the gaps filled in between right now. If we do the Royal Conservatory, we will need them though. So we can hit the A note, the A string, and the C note for 2 beats. B and D, the G over B on beat 3, and then the open E and the C note on the next bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I often make full chords because I may play through more of the chord, but you don't have to, and that's not what's notated here. So up to there, that's a little portion that we're going to replace with something else later on. Here it is again, from the A minor, the A, G over B, C, C bass, E on the top, F sharp note. This F sharp note would come from the key of G, but we're doing A minors. So that would mean it's either an accidental, perhaps from the melodic minor scale, or we're in Dorian. I believe we're in Dorian. We're in the 2 of the key of G, giving us our medieval sound of Greensleeves. Greensleeves is a Henry VIII song, by the way. He wrote it when he was courting Anne Boleyn. I don't know when the lyrics for What Child Is This came about as a Christmas song. So here we go one more time. A to the A minor chord, G over B, C. This bar has this rhythm in it. A dotted quarter for a beat and a half, that quick 8th note on the and of 2 and 3. So we're playing 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Here we have a D and a G note. So we're obviously in a G chord. 1, 2 on beat 3, we open up the B string. And the B and G note occur now. This could be an E minor chord or still G over B. Same little stutter rhythm. Whenever you have 3 notes in the bar, it's going to be this rhythm. So we get G and B, 1 and 2, and at the A note, 3 is the open B, and then the A minor chord at the end of that line. I'm using a first ending so I can use a repeat. The Royal Conservatory book is not going to have an F here. They'll stay on A minor, but this F's really pretty here. A note down to G sharp, up to A again. So a little lower neighbor tone, an accidental. Then the E and the B is an E major chord, as evidenced by the G sharp here on beat 3 and into E again. On beat 3 is this open B. It goes with the E chord. So first we had an A note because we were getting ready with an A minor chord. This time on the repeat, we're going to use the B note. In the Noad book, they just keep writing, but I'm using a repeat so I can save space again. And this is the way I think about it, and this is why students can learn it so easily. We've learned 8 bars, and we're just going to repeat them. So we hit the B, and we're back up to the top on the A. G over B to C. F sharp note to a G. D and G. I refinger the chord, but that's just G over B. And now, although I'm going to hit A minor, it's an ending 2. Back to E, G sharp with the open E, F sharp note, back to the G sharp, so that's again one of these 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That A minor is the end of this one section. We're going to repeat now. Everything's the same except what I've put in green here, these 2 bars of A minor will be replaced with a C chord. So we have the G note on top, the C and the E on the bottom. This one's 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, and then our 1 and 2 and beat. 1, 2, and 3. And now what do? I'm just replacing these green bars with this, so we're on this G now. So first we were in the relative minor of A. Now we're on the C, the relative major. The bright, happy part of the song. Back to the G and D. G over B. Again, I'm using ending 1, the A minor. To F. E. I've put this little green bracket around here just to tell you I'm not doing it now. He doesn't pick up that note again before the C chord, so these C's again on the repeat instead of A minor. So that's 1, 2, 3 on C, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, back to the G, over B, ending 2 on the A minor. And that's all they've got. Here it is then, all the way through, with the repeats and the substitutions. When you're looking at the scan though, it's just going to be standard notation. You can use this idea, you can copy this, photograph it, do whatever you need to have that tab when you're looking at the scans, or just read the scans, work on that note reading. That's how I read it and learned it, but it took me much longer than it should have, I think. It was early in my guitar playing, of course, and also I didn't have this sense of repetitions. I just kept viewing each bar as new information. So try to keep her slow. 1, 2, 3, 1. Let's do Greensleeves, or What Child Is This, from the Royal Conservatory Book 3 now. It's almost identical to what we had in the Frederick M. Noad book, except the chords are a little fuller, and there's a couple of places where they don't do the exact same chords. I'm not going to go through everything on the rhythms again. So we're starting again on an A minor chord. We might as well place that A note now in an A minor chord. This time they're not just playing the 5th and 2nd strings, but strumming the whole chord in here. So we get our A note on beat 3, the A minor chord. They don't play the G over B, they just have this D note here. So we got A minor, walk through the D note to a fuller C chord strum this time, the top 3 strings and the bass note. We have a G chord again. You see a couple more notes in the middle played now, the 4th and 3rd strings. And now the G note continues on the bottom. We play the 4th and 3rd strings again for melody. You see my little mess there in brackets? That's going to show us that we're playing E minor the next time around. So right now it's a G, A minor, a little more strum again. Here we had F in the Noad book. In this book we stay on the A minor. E, a little more fuller strum, so we're playing with these 3 fingers again, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Because we're in an E chord, the other book had us play a B note here on the return. This one has us on the A note as we anticipate this A minor again. Just the one note again, instead of the whole G over B. G with the D note. Now though, not this G chord, they're going to use an E minor, so open strings. And again, ending 2, strum the middle of that A minor. E, A minor. In Noad we went to a C chord. They're going to play a G chord first. Then C. I want to repeat up to this G again. G chord again. Ending 1. Stay on A minor with that G sharp in it. E. As in the Noad book, because we're going to the chords, we don't play this pickup note again. So I put it in green again. Strum through your G and your C. Play your F sharp E and back up to this G. Once again E minor, so open E, E on the 4th string, open G. Ending 2. A's to end. In your book you have 2 more lines, which is just the first part again. We're back to the A minor section again. So we get our 16 bars of A minor, 16 bars with this G to C, 16 bars with A minor again. And we're just playing fuller chords. We're playing not just the 5th and 2nd string in our melodies, but we're filling in the 4th and 3rds of almost all the chords. This G becomes an E minor every second time, and there is no F here. And those are the differences. Let's have a listen to this one. 1, 2, 3. Thanks a lot, guys. Take her easy. Bye.